Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sadhguru Pandit, and we are on the Facebook live chat at Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital. Today, our topic of discussion is cancer in young women. And for the discussion, we have two very experienced and veteran doctors with us. We have Dr. Nilesh Charadia, experience stretching over 2 decades. Presently, he's a senior consultant and surgical oncologist at Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital. He has done MS in general surgery, fellowship in surgical oncology, and fellowship in advanced laparoscopic cancer surgery from Seoul, South Korea. His experience stretches over 1,000 breast cancer surgeries with over 100 laparoscopic and thoracoscopic surgeries, including gynec cancers, intestinal cancers, and urological cancers. He is also an active member of Tobacco Control and Awareness Program, a member of AMC, Association of Oncologists, and an active member of Rotary Club HAM. Welcome, Dr. Choradia. Along with Dr. Choradia, we have Dr. Jay Anam. Welcome, Dr. Anam. Dr. Anam is presently a consultant surgical oncologist dealing with breast cancers at Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital. After completing his MBBS and DNB in general surgery, he has done MCH surgical oncology from this prestigious Tata Memorial Hospital, Mumbai. He has done a fellowship in breast cancer surgery and oncoplasty from France, and he has operated on more than 500 breast cancer patients with a specialty in cosmetic reconstruction. He has been researching and publishing work in various renowned journals, and he's associated with Revive, a unique crowdfunding platform by Cancer Charity Trust aimed at aiding the medical treatment of financially challenged cancer patients. So, looking at the achievements and Nicole, it's sure that we are going to have a fruitful and informative chat today. So, Dr. Choradia, first question to you. So, we often discuss cancer in conversations, but I'm not sure people really do understand what is cancer. And so, if you can throw some light on what is cancer exactly and what is breast cancer, how does it work?
So basically, in people's mind, there is always dilemma. What is cancer? They often ask us, "Ki, sir, this patient is having already done cancer. Can I talk to? Can I speak, eat along with the cancer patient or not?" Thereafter, it is spreading. It is like a virus, and it will spread from one person to another. But cancer is a uncontrolled growth of our own cell. It is not from other people's cell. It is our own cells are getting multiplied. Normally, there is very harmonious division. From one cell, it goes becomes two cell becomes four cell. It is synchronized fashion. But when this synchronization is lost, there are various genes which control the tumor, the growth from one cell to two cells. Some are suppressors, some are promoters. So if there is imbalance in these two, then the patient cell starts growing at a irreparable pace, and it causes a lump or
That's great. That was a very simple and it can understandable definition of cancer. So, Dr. Anam, just want to ask you about how common is breast cancer when we talk about cancer, let's say worldwide or and in Indian scenario.
So presently, breast cancer is the most common cancer in ladies worldwide. Even in India, breast cancer is the most common cancer seen in Indian ladies. The latest data we have is of the year 2018, where nearly 1.6 lakh new breast cancer cases were seen. If you ask me statistics about breast cancer, out of every 4 newly detected cancer in ladies, one patient is of breast cancer. Uh, we have some more stats coming up which say that the incidence of breast cancer has been increasing, and presently, even as we speak, every 4 minutes a new case of breast cancer is detected. So we have to understand that breast cancer is the most important or the most it's in maximum numbers right now, and we all should know about it. We all should know how we can protect ourselves from it, or how do we treat it.
Definitely, definitely. And to inform our viewers, as we had said in our previous chat, that October is celebrated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Thus, the occasion of for arranging these chats to create more and more awareness and bring out professionals and to talk about breast cancer related topics. So, Dr. Choradia, Dr. Anand just talked about how important and how grave is the concern. Just wanted to check with you if the trend is moving towards younger population, and if that is so, then what do you think can be the reasons for this?
Yes, definitely the trend is moving towards younger population. When I started my practice, I used to see people in their 60s, 70s presenting with cancer. But now I am seeing even girls in their 30s also are presenting with breast cancer. It is because of our lifestyle changes mainly, our food factors. Traditionally, the hormone factor were playing a huge role, and that's why if early menarche, late menopause, no child feeding, with no breastfeeding to the child, they were supposed to be risk factor. But now, as people, women are more oriented towards their uh, career, so they tend to have late marriages, late child. Often they tend to neglect breastfeeding to the child, and these are all protective factors. So if they are neglected, then definitely chances of having breast cancer is high. Second most important is our dietary habit. Now, in the traditional Indian diet was rich in various factors, and it has some role in protecting from cancer. But now we are moving towards a white food sort of thing, more fatty diet, more cheesy diet, and it's all less fruit. So all these are definitely attributing towards increasing breast cancer risk.
Right, right. Dr. Anand, do you want to add to that? Anything that you might want to add?
Yeah, if data wise we see it, incidence of breast cancer in rural India is say one lady out of 60 ladies. If we see in the cities, this data is one lady in 28 ladies. So the increase, so the incidence is increasing as we move towards modernization.
Okay.
If you compare our data with USA, in USA, stats say that every one lady out of 8 ladies has got breast cancer. So more westernization is causing this trouble for us. Also, one more important fact is that our population in India is basically very young, and hence we are seeing more young patients with breast cancer as compared to the older patients. So, as Dr. Choradia has rightly said, it's a bane of modernization that we are facing right now.
Right, right. Dr. Chorani, you earlier in the talk you mentioned how abnormality in cells causes is behind the breast cancer or any type of cancers. Just wanted to ask you what are the causes of such abnormal growth of cells resulting in cancer?
See, if you see 80% to 85% cancers are sporadic. They are because of these various environmental factors, dietary factors, hormonal factors. But around 10 to 12% cancer patients, they are hereditary. They are from their families. So chiefly it is associated with maternal family. Mother's younger sister, mother's sister, mother's sister's daughter, mother's mother. If they are having a history of breast cancer or in fact history of ovarian cancer, they are more prone to have breast cancer in other family members. There is a specific gene called BRCA. BR stands for breast, CA for cancer. So BRCA mutation is there. There are two types, 1 and 2. They are both are associated with high risk of breast cancer. There are other factors also, other genetic abnormalities also, like free mutation, etc. So they are also associated with breast cancer. But what we see, BRCA mutation is more common.
Right, great. Dr. Anand, adding to that, because Dr. Choradia has talked about the genetic part and how important is genetic counseling because we also at Nanavati have the facility of genetic counseling. If you can talk a little about genetic counseling, when did it come up and how important a role does it play now?
So we all have to be thankful to one lady in the West, Mrs. Angelina Jolie, who has opened the door for talks regarding genetic uh, discussion and talks. So genetic counseling has been there throughout the years, but now we are more open towards it. So, genetic counseling actually helps us to identify the risk that a lady has towards getting breast cancer or ovarian cancer for that matter. And if we know our risk, if we know how big or how small our enemy is, then we can take proper steps for it. So now with genetic uh, risk risk uh, risk testing and all, it's possible to exactly know what are the chances of getting breast cancer in future and how we can uh, fight against it also. Say by doing a risk reducing mastectomy with implant reconstruction, or say by taking some young ladies. Also, it's very important to know if she is at risk, then she needs to complete her family also a little bit early so that preventive surgeries can be done. So
That's
it's
good.
very important.
Right, right. Thanks a lot. So, Dr. Charadia, next question to you. Very few people know about it, and it is recently getting very common. The breast cancer in men. So, what do you want to talk about breast cancer in men, and what is the prevalence like in the patients that you have seen?
So male breast cancer is known. Initially, people used to see that it's only a female disease.
Right.
Male breast cancer is very well known. These are around 1% of cancer, breast cancer, are one male population. They are also associated with this told you BR mutation, BRCA2. So BRCA1 is mainly female. BRCA2 mutation patients, they have high propensity of developing breast cancer, even in males.
Right, right. And how are they as compared to, in terms of disease progression? How are they as compared to the female cancers?
Yeah, so it's based on the stage actually. So if detected early, breast cancer in males can be cured. That's no, and treatment is nearly the same. They need to undergo surgery and then maybe take chemotherapy, but it can very well be cured. It's nothing to uh, to to think a lot about actually, or to worry about.
Basically, male and female breast cancer, they are prognosis wise, treatment wise, they are same.
Okay.
But most important is the staging in which it is diagnosed. That carries more weightage.
Correct. Right, right. So talking about, because you mentioned genetic counseling, people would love to know the signs of breast cancer, because to identify it early and to for early diagnosis. If you can, Dr. Choradia, talk about the signs and symptoms of breast cancer.
So basically, fortunately, I will tell you that 80% breast lump are non-cancerous. So people should not be afraid that I have lump and this thing. But most important is whenever they have some lump or this thing, they should consult at least some surgeon or oncologist. Uh, the painful lump, they are okay, but painless lump, hard lump, gradually increasing in size. Basically, non-troubling lump is more prone to have a breast cancer. So, painless lump, hard lump, some nipple discharge is there, reddish nipple discharge is there. Greenish mode, many people have. But red nipple discharge is present, it should be a warning sign. When there is inequality in the breast, when you are sitting or while you are taking bath, and you palpate something abnormal, immediately consult your doctor, because it can be an early stage and it can be a completely curable stage. Most important. And one important thing is early stages. Many people are afraid of chemotherapy and this thing. So early stages, sometimes we are able to avoid all these things. So detecting at early stage and treating at that stage is very very important.
Right. So, Dr. Anand, Dr. Choradi just mentioned the stages.
Right.
If you can throw some more light and on how, what are the stages and how do you decide the severity of cancer in patients?
So we, for the ease of understanding and treating cases, we divide breast cancer into 3 stages. We divide it as early breast cancer, locally advanced breast cancer, where it may have spread to the nodes in the armpit, and metastatic breast cancer or very advanced disease where the disease has spread from the breast to other organs of the body. So, uh, uh, the good news is that cure rate of 5-year overall survival rate in early breast cancer is nearly 99%. That means it's a complete cure if detected on time and treated on time as per medical guidelines. For locally advanced breast cancer, uh, even for locally advanced breast cancer, we have got curative treatments now. Cure rates are as high as 85%. So, but these patients may need first chemotherapy followed by surgery, and then they may need radiation also. For metastatic breast cancer, mainly we have got now newer drugs have come of immunotherapy also. We have got hormonal therapy, then chemotherapy is also there. Surgery plays a little bit lesser role, but uh, overall we have got treatment for all of them. Maybe not curative, but we try and increase the life of a patient with a metastatic breast cancer. And what we stress is that she should have a quality of life. That is very important, which is improved by the newer medication. So that's it. That's it.
Yes, thanks a lot, doctor. So, Dr. Choraria, because we keep talking about the self-breast examination and how it should be commonplace in especially young women, what are these stages of diagnosis when it comes to breast cancer?
Basically, self-based examination is examination by the patient herself. It is, if you see literature, there are many literature which show that it is equivalent to mammography if that is started at early stage and regularly done. Because females' hand is somehow more sensitive. They can identify any something abnormal, something different from their prior thing very easily. And that's why self-based examination carries a very crucial role, especially in Indian females our rural population where they don't have facility of mammography every time. So self-based examination can detect as small lump as a mammography can. It is a very crucial thing. Generally, examination should be started at the age of 20-25 years only. Preferably it is done after the her menses, 5 to 7 days after the menses, because menses is little painful time. So once the pain is less, their gland become little smooth. So even smaller lump they are able to palpate very well. We advocate them to do self-based examination while they are taking a bath, because when soap is applied, the hands are little slippery and smaller lumps can be easily palpated. And then the female will know that what is normal for her, what is abnormal, something new for her. So whatever new is coming, it is from something different, she should definitely consult a doctor. So self-based examination should be done even in pregnant patient also, and even post-menopausal patient also, after the menses also, because they have to fix a time. We advocate, we say that fix first of month or fix their birth date, so they will not forget to do self-examination, and they will able to diagnose the disease at a very early stage.
Right, right. So, Dr. Charade, self-breast examination, of course, is followed by mammography. If you can just explain the viewers, how does mammography work in detecting the cancer?
So mammography is basically X-ray of breast in layman's language. So where breast is compressed in between the two X-ray plates and film is taken. So there are certain signs like irregular lump is there, speculated lesion is there, irregular margin is there, firm lump is axillary lymph nodes are palpable. So they are we call calcification, microcalcification. So they are all signs of cancerous or pre-cancer disease. Only microcalcification, it can be a pre-cancer stage. We call it that carcinoma in situ. So even if detected in that stage and if treated, the patient will not develop breast cancer. So advantage is either early stage, early detection or detection in pre-cancer stage, where we can prevent cancer, we can treat cancer completely.
Right.
Just one more thing I would like to
Sure,
add.
sure.
Now we have got newer machines for mammography also, so it is absolutely painless for the patient. Many times people have notion that mammography is very painful and it's bad and the radiation exposure is
Yes.
low. So let it make it clear for you that radiation exposure is less than zero point 0.4 milli uh, SEV. So that's really very less, and it does not cause any harm to the body. It's absolutely safe.
Yes, sir. So, Dr. Anand, just an add-up question. When do you think exactly young women should start, going for mammography, and how frequently should they do it?
So first thing, we have to identify what is the risk for her. So if she has got a family history of breast cancer, maybe in a mother or in a maternal aunt, or so she seems to be at a higher risk. So ideally, she should consult a genetic doctor for that. And ideal age to start self breast examination and mammography for her will be 25 years. Many times for younger ladies, mammography is not that good, and hence we advise uh, other types of scan like MRI scan for such ladies. While for normal general risk population, the ideal risk for self breast examination starts after 25 years and mammography starts after 40 years of age. So once a year or once in say 18 months, it needs to be done. So we can catch cancers early then, and and we can give a curative treatment for them.
Correct. True. True. Thanks a lot, sir. Dr. Choradia, just wanted to ask you, treating breast cancer in young women once it's detected, is it different than treating breast cancer in older women? And what are the different steps? Because you mentioned surgery, you mentioned radiation, you also mentioned chemotherapy. So, how do these stages of treatment work cohesively?
Treatment, surgical wise, oncological part wise, the treatment remains same. You have to remove the lung, you have to remove the lymph nodes. When age is more than 70 years, then we are not really very much bothered about cosmesis. Of course, it is patient choice, and we always offer them. But younger population, the cosmesis plays a very crucial role because breast is a part of her self, and people, if complete breast, which traditionally used to be removed, they have serious psychological side effects. So nowadays more is emphasis on conserving breast in those patients, and more than conserving, giving a natural shape by some practical surgery methods, so that they should be aesthetically excellent, should be they can do with very good dignity.
Right. True. True. So, Dr. Anam, because you performed many breast reconstruction, surgeries. How well do you think that has played? How good a role that has played in giving a moral support to the patients? Because the news of breast cancer must come as a shock to them, and for young patients, definitely it must have played a very vital role.
Yeah, so more than breast cancer harming the body, it harms the mind, the the it it harms the psyche of the patient, the family, everyone. So now we have got very good surgical options like oncoplasty, where we try and give a good cosmetic outcome after a breast cancer surgery is done. And it gives a patient a belief, a confidence, and a good life ahead. They they uh, they tend to want this now. My patients come and tell me that it's just breast cancer, it's just a passing phase. That's what I tell to all my patients. It's just a passing phase. You need to live your life. You have to wear good clothes. You have to go outside. You have to meet people. So that self respect and dignity has to be there. So, of course, breast cancer reconstruction also plays a very important part in the life ahead.
Right. Thanks a lot, Doctor. Thanks. So, Dr. Chiradi, now we talked about the detection and treatment. Just wanted to know how well does the treatment work in terms of breast cancer when it comes to survival rate. So, if a person is has avoided getting treated, what will be the survival rate as opposed to the person who gets timely detection and treatment?
So as you tell you that stage one So, Dr. Jay already tell you that stage 1 has almost 99% cure rate. Stage 2 has almost 85 to 86% cure rate. Stage 3 has 60 to 75% cure rate. Stage 4 is higher survival is around 10 to 20%. So, if patient avoid taking treatment, she will progress to higher stages, and then her chances of cure, her chances of survival decreases. Uh, Rather than cure, also there are other factors also, because when you are avoiding treatment, you are allowing the cancer to grow. So after in some time it will get fungate, and then it is a very terrible scene, because patient is having bad smell, bleeding from there. Socially, nobody is ready to go near her because of the smell, because of bleeding, and life becomes very palliative. So when you have very good cure rate with good cosmesis, then why go for this? Why wait and go for this fungating and terrible stage? So that is my message, that don't neglect your lung. Treat it at right stage, because if you wait, it can really trouble you.
True, true. So, Doctor, what are the most common causes that you see in people who delay treatment, especially the young women or older women?
Yeah, so as Sir has said, that breast cancer most commonly presents as a painless breast lump. Our Indian mentality is बेटा आज सो जाओ कल तक सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. So that's a main hindering factor. If any change in symmetry of the breast is there, or any lump is there which is not causing trouble to you, it's very important that you are seen by a medical expert who can guide further treatment for you. Indian ladies are known to be shy. They don't want to discuss their health problems so openly. But I urge you all that if any problem is there, we all are there to help you out.
True, true, and that was a great comforting message. Thanks, Lord, sir. We will also take some of the questions from the viewers that we have. Ms. Priyanka Rao was asking, can stress cause cancer?
Yes, of course, and even stress can cause malignancy. It can cause hormonal imbalance. It can alter your diet. It can cause you to increase your weight, and obesity is also known cause for breast cancer.
Right. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Choraria, if you would like to answer, how can this cancer be prevented? How can they prevent breast cancer?
So basically, identifying this patient and treating and they are what we were telling you, hereditary cancers. So if they are present, there are some pills available, like hormone therapy tablets. So they decrease risk by almost 40 to 50%. There is prophylactic ovary surgery is there, which decreases risk by 50% of the developing breast cancer. And third important is prophylactic mastectomy, with immediate reconstruction with plastic surgery. So prophylactic mastectomy, it decreases the risk by almost 90 to 95%. So all these are not 100% foolproof, but they definitely reduce the risk. The second important is, as avoid all the bad habits like alcohol, smoking, avoid fatty foods, because obesity is one of the risk factors for breast cancer. So avoid eating fatty diet, do yoga, do exercises, uh, boost your immunity and decrease the chance of developing breast. So, any cancer for the matter.
That's great. That's great. Dr. Anand, if you would like to answer, what are the side effects of cancer treatment?
Uh, there are side effects of anything and everything actually, but side effects of modern cancer treatment are not much. They can be treated really well. So to talk about first side effect of breast cancer surgery, so most common side effect was like the shame or the lack of pride with the patient had in herself when mastectomy was done. But now, with the advent of good reconstruction and oncoplasty, we have tried to overcome that side effect. Sometimes, following breast cancer surgery, patient may have edema or swelling of that side of the arm, but it can very well be treated with physiotherapy. Regarding sides of chemotherapy, it depends on the drug which we use. Many times people are worried that if I take chemotherapy, I'll lose all my hair. But now we have got newer machines whereby a cap is put on which cools the scalp while the chemotherapy is going on, so that the blood supply to the scalp is less, so that less chemotherapy reaches the scalp, and overall nearly 70 to 80% less hair fall is there. There are other side effects of chemotherapy which depend on which drug we are using, but those can be managed really very well now. Radiation has got fewer side effects, say in terms of it can damage the lungs, and if left-sided breast cancer is there, then long-term effects of on heart is also seen. But over here, we have to weigh what effect or what quality of life this treatment is going to give as compared to some minuscule side effects. So right now we have got treatment for most of the side effects also. So please come ahead, take the necessary treatment. We are all are there to help you.
That's great.
I would just like to add one thing.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Jay was telling about the arm limb edema.
Yes.
So we have a technique when early stage no nodes are present. We have a technique called sentinel node biopsy. So we inject a dye in the breast and we first examine the armpit nodes. We examine them in the same operation theatre setting, and we check whether they are cancer cells are reached there or not. So if not reached, then we don't require to do a complete lymph node dissection, which causes edema, lymphedema in our 1% or 2% patient. So taking care as a preventive measure is very important in these patients. And there are some surgical aspects also there, how to decrease the chances of lymphedema. So expert person doing breast surgery, he know where the breast, arm lymphatics go and where breast lymphatics go. So he can remove them properly and decrease the chances of lymphedema. So surgery by expert person carries a very important thing in this scenario to prevent complications also.
And good oncological outcomes also.
That's great. That's true. Also, Shimona M is wanted to know, it's slightly away from the topic of discussion, but she wanted to know the common cancers in young women.
So, as we know, breast cancer is now become a number one cancer. Traditionally, it was cervical cancer in females, which was more common. Third important cancer is oral cancer. Fourth is colorectal cancer, intestinal cancer, and fifth is ovarian cancer. They are all very common in young women.
Right, right. Lastly, sir, very important question, and I think this is one of the biggest myths around. Is cancer treatment worse than cancer? You can each give an answer for that.
Definitely not, sir. Now, there is one difference in cancer surgery 20 years back and cancer surgery now. Now, we always emphasis on cure, but apart from cure, we always try to emphasize on patient's quality of life. It becomes very important. We all want our patient to be as normal as possible. So, temporary side effects are definitely there, but no side effect is permanent. And they finally, once they fight the disease, they come out very well on the disease. So there is no need to worry, no need to be. I will say कि don't you consult your doctor. You will. We are always there to help you, and whatever doubt you have, you ask your doctor. We give you proper answer. Proper correspondence and proper talking, proper discussion becomes a crucial word to elevate this.
As Sir has said, cancer treatment has evolved over the years. Right now, in breast cancer, we preach the lesser we remove the better, as Sir has rightly said about sentinel node biopsies. We also do lots of breast conservation surgeries. We also do lots of breast reconstructions now. So things have changed for the good. And of course, any day's breast cancer treatment is better, or taking treatment is much more easier than suffering in a lonely place.
That is true. That is true. And eventually, as you correctly said, one has to weigh the risk benefit ratio, and the risk of getting, missing the treatment, and the benefits of receiving the treatment are great. So, Doctor, one more question by Kashish Singh Dev. She wanted to know, can breast cancer be cured? Dr. Anam, if you'd like to answer.
Yeah, madam, breast cancer, of course, can be cured. Like the latest data says that if it's a early breast cancer, cure rates are as high as 99%. If it's a little bit spread cancer, say say to the nodes, still cure rate is high 85%. Only in metastatic cases, we don't see, we can't assure you of a cure, but 5-year overall survival is more than 30% for that. Now, still newer drugs have come which are increasing the life of the breast cancer patients, and of course, it can be cured. There's a high cure rate. It's on which stage we catch the breast cancer and we start treatment. Entire cure is dependent on that, and hence screening mammography is very important. Self breast examination is very important. You need to ask for help as early as you can.
Right. Dr. Choraria, if you'll, while we are ending this chat, if you'd like to give a message from both of you actually, to a message for young ladies and young women for on this occasion of breast cancer awareness month.
So I will tell you that, as I told you previously also, that not all the tumor are cancer. 85% lump are non-cancerous. So allay your fear, neglect your fear, consult your doctor. Any painless lump, any nipple discharge, any irregularity, any onset lump, please consult your doctor immediately, because it can be a really game changer in your cure rate. And many people I see when diagnosed, they keep on wasting time. So it becomes again gives time for the cancer cells to grow and spread. So if you have any issues, please consult your doctor. That is the important thing, because if you want, some people really have some problem, and then we can help you giving some drug, something to so that to overcome that time period. So yeah, you discuss with your doctor each and every aspect. It will help you in your overall.
So I would like to end by saying that cancer is not the end, it's just a passing phase of your life. And to live with dignity is a basic right of every individual, be it a cancer patient or a normal individual. So we try and take care of that the life ahead is with full of self-respect and dignity for your own self.
That's a very important message for all our viewers. Actually, if you know anybody in whose family the breast cancer, unfortunately as well, definitely make them aware about this. And as Dr. Jainam said, it is not an eventuality; it is just a phase of your life or a difficult phase, which the doctors like Dr. Choradia or Dr. Jainam would definitely help you fight and emerge victorious. Definitely. Thanks a lot to both the doctors for coming here and taking out time from your busy schedules. And thanks a lot to all the viewers for watching this show. And stay tuned. We'll be returning in the next health chat at 9.
Thanks a lot.